everyone. Welcome to the Lynn and Cheryl Show. I'm Lynn Serrano.
I'm Sheryl Isenhour.
Cool. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back. Hi, Cheryl. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. The knot hadn't clicked yet, so we're doing good. I'm hanging in there.
And just for the record, Cheryl has a green shirt on, but when she got on here, I said, haha, we're wearing blue. And she's like, no, this is green. But I told her, haha, on the screen, we're wearing blue.
It looks like I've got a tan too, and I'm white as a ghost. So, hey.
Hey, the tan looks good. Looks like you were poolside the last couple days. You could be at any time.
If Zoom monitor would give me a tan, I would be dark. Because that's about all I say.
I know. I look really tan next to you, and I'm Puerto Rican, and I need some sun.
So
oh my goodness. I'm doing well, and there's our Bob. Thank you, Bob, for being here. Always love seeing you on here. How are you doing today, Bob? I am doing well. I am doing super well. I'm really excited that all my behind-the-scenes stuff working out just great with the LynnSerrano.tv. It's a hot mess right now, but hey, it's got to be messy when you're reconstructing things, right?
Yep. So just tie a knot and hang on.
There you go, which brings us to the conversation. And you thought of this last week. So how about if you share with everybody why it says tie a knot in it and hang on? What's your perspective?
Years ago, and we're going to use that years ago, I was in the cross stitching. My daughter is 50 and she was a small child. So if that kind of narrows in how many years.
Well, it is. You're talking BC. You're not talking BC, which would be before child. So it's not that long ago.
Well, it was BBC, barely before child.
Okay.
Or BAC, barely after child. I got into cross stitching. And you know how you cross stitch a lot of things. And I found this it was a mouse. And he had a rope with a knot in it. And he was hanging on to it. And to the side, it was tie a knot in it and hang on.
Oh, not a real mouse.
No, it was a picture of a mouse. A cartoon character. Okay. And I cross stitched it, not knowing what I was going to do with it. And I took it one day. I had put it on a bigger piece of stuff that I needed, and it was big enough I could make a small throw pillow. And I didn't realize how important that little pillow would become. So as I reached out into life, and the marriage was going south, the world was going south at the time. Just a lot of things going on. You know what happens when you're young. And I could look at that picture, and it'd sit there on the sofa the whole time, and I would pick it up. And I told that mouse more stories than you can imagine. It was kind of like almost like a security blanket. It was when things would get really bad, it was my reminder, just tie a knot in it and hang on, because eventually, unless the knot breaks, you can move on. And it's amazing how, like, that one little sentence carried me through a lot of hard times when I was younger. And I still think about it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We got a delay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem. The pillow's gone now, and I don't know where, don't know who, don't know where it's at. But I still remember the tie a knot and hang on it. And I use that because I just think there's always something in somebody's past. It may be any little saying that brings them back to reality. And that one's worked for a lot of years, and somebody can borrow it if they like. It was actually one of Winston Churchill's. Go ahead.
What I love about it is that's an anchor. That's a point in time that you can go to. That's a safe place. And it's important for everybody to have those memories or those times anchored in for the less glorious moments in your life. And so that really is important. And I mean, we talked last night about joy in Lynn and Scott's show. And, and what I said there, is applicable here in the sense that the memories, we should enjoy the memories we have with people, because when they die, you're always going back to when's our last conversation. And if you don't leave everything on the table of telling people how much they love you, you love them, or have a great conversation, it's always going to be the last thing that you had with them in a conversation that's going to be anchored as whether it's a good memory or bad memory. And so again, I think it's very important to, tie a knot into anything and hang on that's joyful, happy, brings you the endorphins, like when you think of your grandkids when they were little and the funny things they said or did. I mean, these are things that if you can go back at the difficult times and think of those things, it'll break that state you're in that you need to get out of. So,
Well, always remember, I hear people, they dwell in the bad, okay? But what they need to remember is if nothing bad ever happened to you, you would never know when the good came around. So
exactly.
embellish the bad times and use them as stepping stones, as growing points. They were put there for a reason. I mean, I like I've told you before, I don't think every step in life's written. I think we make our own. But every choice you make sends you in a certain direction. And if you happen to go down the rabbit hole wrong one day, remember how you got out and use it next time. So I just there's bad things happened in my life, but I've taken those and converted them over into something good, and it works super.
But you know what? I believe that it's true that even in bad things, good things happen. Bad things have to happen in order for good things to show up. Good things show up, bad things have to happen. It's equal. It's like your checkbook. You got a debit and you got a credit. And somewhere it's got to even out. And it's always got to be balanced. And the same thing such as life. I mean, bad things have to happen for glorious things. I mean, some things, tragic things that have happened in people's lives end up becoming their purpose in life. And so, therefore, you didn't know your purpose until you were given. I mean, like, you have to look at things, it's a matter of perspective. We're supposed to live here, go through things, and, and learn from them and then empathize with other people.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I use it in coaching a lot. I don't mind telling you that something's happened because, and it's not for the, oh, feel sorry for me. It's that you didn't ride this boat alone. You're not the only person this has ever happened to. And I'm sure I could pick up the phone and give you 50 more that it's happened to really, really quick. So, because when things bad happen, you feel like you're the only person that it ever happened to. And you're not. You're just one in many. A lot of people won't talk about it, and it took me years before I could talk about some things that had happened. It wasn't like I just came out of the chute. Oh, by the way,
yeah.
uh, but I used it when I needed to help someone, and it's part of life. At my
Well,
age, if nothing bad had happened, I'd probably be dead by now. But you know how that goes.
right. Well, like I said, it's one of those things where you feel your resume of, a good example. Like if you haven't had a parent pass away, but if you know somebody that had a parent pass away, you have that in between you to say, not that we know how each other feels, but we have something of common that we can relate more than somebody that doesn't or didn't have a parent pass away yet. It's just those different levels. And so you just bring those things up to say, hey, I'm sorry you're going through this. I know I had a personal hard time with that, and you give your condolences. But, until my mother died, I was like, gosh, was I really empathetic to other people? Like, I didn't realize how I would feel about that. So you just become more mindful when you connect with people on different levels of what you've gone through, which everybody's experience is different, but the same story is nonetheless, death, family, weddings, divorces. I mean, all these different things, so again, it's being able to connect with people at where they're at, and empathizing and knowing and feeling and realizing that we all have the same thing go on. I mean, we'll eventually have parents pass, or kids, or loved ones, or friends, or pets, or anything that you love, cars, whatever, that you're going to go through some kind of loss in your life. You don't live, especially at 56 and beyond, I'll leave it at that. You don't live this long and don't say, oh shit, nothing's ever happened to me, unless you're non-human. So everything is like a season. Everything is like weather, good and bad.
They're all different chapters. And it's still in the book. I mean, you've got a book and that chapter's in there. It'll never go away. You can't, and it's a book you can't rip the chapter out of. But what people tend to forget is that there's more chapters to be written. And so I try to look at life that way. When something bad happens, do my best to turn the page so I can get on to the next chapter. But it's not worth dwelling on. I read online the other day of a gentleman had 3 small children. His wife had passed away, and he committed suicide just because he couldn't deal with it. And I can understand it, but now there's 3 small children out there with neither parent. And so situations, those are the people that don't ask for help. Nobody even had a clue he was even headed down that path. So I think we all need to keep our eyes open more to see these little, and sometimes they're very slight things that you see. And, not a busybody. You're not a busybody if you just ask somebody, are you okay? Would you like to talk? And sometimes I think I've got that sign on the top of my head that says, if you want to talk to somebody, talk to me.
She's my girl. I call her, I'm hot on some topics. I'm hot. Matter of fact, I told her before the show, I said, I talk to you this way, Sheryl, but I wouldn't talk to anybody else like this. But she has the tell me how you feel, and you just end up telling her. She's got this way.
Everybody needs somebody, and if I'm that somebody that can help, that's what it's all about. But also, it gives me a chance if I need to say something to someone. But again, everybody has a problem, and you just, till you can get that help, you take today's topic, you just tie a knot in it, and you hold on as long as you can till there's somebody to help pull you up that road.
I love that. And I almost think we should end on that note, because that truly is. Ask the questions. And when you ask the questions, you'll find the answers. So, I love the tie a knot and hang on and realize that, look, this too shall pass. Everything passes. Everything has a season and a time. So, you have any closing statements and things you want to say? I think you said it all just now, but I want to ask.
I'm good. Just everybody have a great week, regardless of when you're listening to us. And just remember this. Just put it in the back of your mind for the day you need it.
I love it. So just remember, try to stay as positive and happy. You may not feel that way, but remember, you don't want it to creep in and live in your body and in your life if you don't change the way you feel. So we love you. We hope to see you next Wednesday. And Sheryl, I love you.
Love you too. You guys have a great day out there. We'll talk later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day.